Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first of my monthly roundups. This I think is the format I'm going to stick with for the moment. You know me, it could all change. Just basically once a month, the first Saturday in every month, I'll just record a normal video, what I've been watching, what I've been buying, any bits of news I've managed to pick up, that kind of thing. It did occur to me the other night that maybe I should do it not as a weekly thing, but to record smaller segments over the coming weeks and then cobble them together at the end of the month in a kind of a diary format, that kind of thing. So let me know what you think about that. But other than that, I'm probably going to keep it at this because I've had a few weeks off. I've got a few bits and pieces to talk about, so we should easily run to half an hour quite easily. There won't be too many reviews this time round because I think the reviews have kind of got a bit stale with them being so old. I'll mention what I've watched, but I won't go into too much detail because, as I say, a couple of them I watched sort of 3-4 weeks ago. So that's maybe why I'm going to do the sort of the weekly catch-up thing. And then just cobble it all together at the end of the month. But I'll see how this one goes and I'll see how I feel at the end of it. So, right, I'll start with the big news this week, which is this. I have finally broken my self-imposed cinema-going ban. I went to see Michael this week, the Michael Jackson biopic. I'll just go for my notes here. Just bear with me a sec because I've got it all nicely in order. Let's see. I put a post on Facebook, a little video of me actually sitting in the cinema. The plan was to do a full size sort of videos, one maybe sitting in the corridor outside, but I thought, you know what, it's going to look weird to anybody watching this, so I didn't bother doing that. I was actually the first one in the screen when I did that video, but I did put a post on Facebook basically saying that I'm finally back inside a cinema. Rob Gear, you said, wow, maybe one day I'll see you there, Tony. Maybe, you never know. Jason P. Morning, Jay. You put, I think this visit needs its own mini video. This is a big moment for you. It was a big moment for me. I'll explain why in just a sec. And you put, we want to know, and I'll go through these questions one by one because this will keep me on track. What made you think I'm going to the cinema to watch Michael? I was having a conversation with a colleague at work and I was basically saying that I wouldn't mind seeing it, basically because it is dividing people right down the middle. Some love it, some hate it. But from what I can work out, it's the critics that dislike it. The public absolutely love it. They are flocking in droves to see it. It's smashing box office records all over the world. To me, that's a success. So critics really don't matter. But I was having a conversation and basically saying that I could really do with watching this movie because everybody's talking about it. And she said to me, why don't you go to to Cineworld and have a look? Oh, yeah, maybe, I don't know. You know me. And I said, no, I'll just wait for it to stream or I'll get it on Blu-ray when it comes out or 4K or whatever. And she came back to me a few minutes later and she said, there's actually a showing at 11 o'clock today. Now, I was actually finishing at 10 that day. And you know what? I thought, what is actually stopping me from not so much nipping home, but going straight to the cinema from work and just going in and watching the damn thing? And I said to her, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking do it. I'm actually going to go to Cineworld and I'm going to watch this film. So that's basically how it came about. What drew you to this film? Exactly what I've just said is that it's the film of the moment. Everybody is talking about this. And as I say, it's divided everybody. It really, really has. The critics absolutely loathe it. They're basically saying that the main comment is, where's the rest of it? Because I'm sure you all know, it basically goes up to 1984, which I think is the Victory Tour. And it finishes there with His Story Continues. So, as far as I know, there were no sort of hints at the allegations that were to come at that point, which is why it wasn't mentioned. And the other thing I thought is, do you know what, just maybe the director didn't want to make a movie concerning all the allegations against him, because we've heard so much about this. We've been flooded with documentaries and movies and TV programs all about the court cases and this, that, and the other. Do you know what? I don't believe a word of it, and a lot of people I know don't believe a word of it. I just think he was a very naive, misunderstood, childlike man who just got it wrong, and that is it. I honestly think that. So I won't be watching any more documentaries concerning the latter half of his life. I did watch the one on BBC, and I came away from it basically and said to Rob, that's it, I'm all Jacksoned out now, I don't really want to see any more. But I wouldn't mind seeing the movie that's coming round. But everybody else absolutely seems to love it, and I'll read some of your thoughts out in a bit. Just bear with me. Yes, I've got some your thoughts coming later on, very shortly. So that's what drew me to the film, is the fact that everybody is talking about it, and I was assured by a couple of people before I went that if you're going for an 11 o'clock screening, there won't be many people in there. The schools are not off, everybody's at work, you'll have a tiny handful of people in there, and that is it. So that's what drew me to it. How was your experience? And Guy also asked, did you have the screen to yourself? Not quite, mate, no. I think in total there were, let's see, 3 old women that looked like the Golden Girls. They were sat about 3 rows in front of me. There were 2 couples to the right of me on the other side. And a group of disabled kids came in, about 5 of them, who sat down the front. So it, for all intents and purposes, it was pretty much empty. But bearing in mind, I've not been inside a cinema in 20 years plus. You all pretty much know the reason why. I'll just sum it up for those that don't. I went to see, I think it was A Perfect Storm. So whatever year that was the last time I set foot inside a cinema. It was at Cineworld. It was a free night. They'd just started doing these nights. I think Tuesday nights were free. And I went in, and it was just complete disruption. I think I sat through half an hour of it, of phones going off, people talking, kids clowning about. And in the end, I thought, do you know what? I really don't want this anymore. And I walked out, and that was the last time I went to the cinema. And I certainly would never go to another free night, never in a million years. But that is the reason that I stopped going, and that is the reason why I prefer to stay at home and watch movies on my TV. To me, it's just the same. Although obviously you haven't got the big screen impact of that, but that was the reason why I stopped going. But the experience itself was absolutely brilliant. I can't fault it. I walked in. I think they'd just opened the doors, and I'd already been told that somebody said, I'm not sure whether you can buy tickets at the actual counter, you have to get them from a machine. And straight off, alarm bells began to ring, and it's like, oh God, here we go. And she said, no, just walk through the door, look to your right, and you will see 2 or 3 machines. You touch the screen and literally follow the instructions. So I walked in, a little nervous, I've got to admit. Walked up to the machine, touched the screen, and it was basically, what movie do you want to see? Touch the screen. Where would you like to sit? And it brings up a seating plan, shows you which seats are occupied and which aren't. You pick your seat, and then you pay for it on your card. And it was as simple as that. There was also mention on the screen that if you prefer to purchase a ticket at the counter, just go to the concession stand, which I presume is where they sell all the popcorn and the hot dogs and all that sort of thing. So I did have the option to do that, but I did it on the machine and it worked out perfectly okay. I didn't bother with popcorn or anything like that. I went straight in to the cinema, sat down, recorded that little video for you guys, and then the film started, well, not the film, but the programme started about 5 to 11. Now, bear in mind, I'd actually parked in the car park at Cooper Square, opposite Sainsbury's, and it cost me I think it was £3, £3 for 3 hours. I didn't want to go up to 6 hours because I didn't think it would be that long. I knew the movie was 127 minutes long, and I thought, you know, with a couple of adverts and trailers, I'll be out by about 1:45, perfect. Didn't quite work out that way. I parked up, even though I was advised to park in Matalan's car park, but the last time I parked in there, or tried to park in there, the gate that was across the road from there was actually closed, and when I drove up to it, I was assured it just opened, and it didn't, so I had to reverse and come out because I didn't know what to do. So I thought I'll park in Sainsbury's for now, in Cooper Square for now, and then next time I'll think about parking there. So that's a lesson learned. I will be doing that next time, and you'll understand why in a minute. So as I say, the programme started about 5 to 11. We went through a series of adverts which seemed to go on forever. Must have lasted a good 20-25 minutes. And just as I thought we were going to get onto the main film, then the trailers started, and there must have been 7 or 8 of them. And I have to admit, it started to get to me after a bit. After about the 5th or 6th one and all these adverts, I could hear myself saying under my breath, for fuck's sake, how many more? Can't we just get on with the film? Anyway, eventually it did start, and I think it started around about, let's see, was it about 11:45 or 50? I can't remember. But anyway, with the movie being 128 minutes long, I thought this is going to be tight. If it finishes spot on time, I might just make it back without getting a ticket. So I was a little bit nervous. I was clock watching for about the last half an hour, sort of thinking, oh God, I hope this ain't going to go on too long, otherwise I'm going to end up with a ticket. Anyway, it finished. I came out of the cinema and instantly ran into somebody from work, and I thought, oh God. And I said, look, I can't stop. I literally can't stop. I've got to get back to the car in like 3 minutes, otherwise I'm going to end up with a ticket. And he said, no, off you go. So off I charged. I didn't get a ticket, came home and was immensely proud of myself. The whole experience was absolutely brilliant. The only thing that got to me a little bit was the sheer amount of trailers and adverts that you had to sit through. Some of the adverts were on 2-3 times. And it just kind of dragged on. Now, if I hadn't bought that car parking ticket for 3 hours, it wouldn't have bothered me quite so much. But as I say, for the last half hour of the film, I was clock watching, thinking, God, I'm going to have to get going in a minute. I'm going to have to miss the end of this. But I literally just made it in time. And Rob did say to me when I got home, he says, you wouldn't have got a ticket. He says, they're not that quick. He says, if you'd have been in there for sort of an hour or 2 hours afterwards, then you might have done. But he says, they're not literally walking around there all the time. So he says, you wouldn't have got a ticket sort of 10 minutes after. So, but the whole experience itself was absolutely brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it. It was good to be back. It's not something I'm planning on doing every week. It will only be an occasional thing when it's something that I really, really want to see on the big screen. The next one, I think, is going to be the Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day, which I really, really want to see, because I keep hearing that movie mentioned in the same breath as Close Encounters. So I do definitely want to take a look at that one. Whether I'll go to the cinema and watch it, I don't know. I certainly won't be going on to any evening screenings. The only ones I'm ever really going to bother with, I think, are morning screenings and also possibly early afternoon, because there won't be that many people in there. The thought of sitting in a crowded cinema, it does nothing for me at all. I don't know, I maybe would have done a few years ago, but not now. I'd rather just have it like it was on, was it Monday I went, or Wednesday? I'd rather have it that way than be sitting in a packed out cinema. It was just perfect for me. As I say, there was 3, 5, 7, about 11, 12 people there, not including me. So that was perfect. But yes, I will definitely be going again. Whether you'll see me in there, Rob, will depend on which screenings you go to. I don't know whether you go to evening screenings, but you certainly won't see me in there of an evening, that is for sure. The other thing is, of course, with having work the following day, I'm normally in bed by 7:30, 8 o'clock, which is when the films are normally starting. So it is highly unlikely you will see me in there on an evening. Maybe the occasional morning or afternoon showing, depending on what the movie is and whether I desperately want to see it. As I did discover, they are running a Spielberg season at the moment, and Close Encounters is playing on Saturday night at 7:15. Now, I won't be going to that one for the simple reason is it's its 50th anniversary next year. It is bound to get a full blown cinema release for that. That is the one that I'm going to see, because they will always certainly have sort of morning and afternoon showings there. I would also like to check out the Red Carpet Cinema in Barton. This has actually given me more confidence to check that. So the next time I'm on holiday, I'll check out what the Red Carpet have got playing, and I might take myself over there for maybe a bit of lunch and a film. So I shall see how I go. But altogether, a brilliant experience, and it was nice to be sitting in a cinema again, watching a film where it should be watched on the big screen. So yeah, absolutely. Now, what was your next question? Did you enjoy the film? Very, very much. I didn't think once about the allegations and all this crap that came after 1984. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. The soundtrack was superb. Jafar Jackson, who I think is his nephew, played him absolutely brilliantly. He got the dance moves down to a T. He got his mannerisms down to he was just superb. As you all know, his father was an absolute pig of a man. Played very, very well by an actor whose name I can't remember. But he played him very well to the point where you literally did hate the sight of him. But the film itself was absolutely brilliant. It's just over 2 hours. As I say, soundtrack is superb. Pretty much every Jackson's song that you can think of is featured in there at some point. And the concert footage of the Victory Tour, which is as it finishes, is just brilliant. So yeah, if you're thinking of going to watch it, highly 100% recommend it. Absolutely brilliant. Let's see, Jason, you were saying, I know about 10 people that have seen it and they all loved it. I will purchase it on Blu-ray on the day of release. I will almost certainly do that. Sam, you said really enjoyed it. Tone, Ashley, we watched it on Friday and it was genuinely one of the best films ever. I'm itching to go and watch it again. Guy, I want to see it, but we'll wait until it turns up on Sky or the streamers. Julie, you said, I've seen it, I loved it, it was brilliant. I'm a fan though, and it did make me emotional. Personally, I can't fault it, can't wait for the second part. Lee Wood, oh Lee, we do miss you at work, mate, we really do. Hope you're doing okay. You put going on Wednesday. So yeah, everybody, as I say, the public seem to absolutely love it. It's just the critics that don't seem to have any time for it, and I seriously don't get why. As I said, to me it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it, and the fact that it didn't address the allegations, that all happened after '84, and maybe, just maybe, like I said, maybe that isn't the film that the director wanted to make. You know what I mean? Maybe he wanted to make a film about the good times. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jackson's early life wasn't brilliant. It really wasn't. But maybe he just wanted to, make a movie free of all the stuff that we've been saturated with over the last few years and that we're all heartily sick of hearing about now. And as I say, a lot of people don't believe it anyway. So maybe that's the case. How shocked were you that a ticket has gone up from £2.20 to £10? Times change, I mean, it's been 20 years plus since I went into a cinema, so it really didn't surprise me. But to be fair, my seat cost me, and I think it's because it was a morning showing, £5.99. You can't fault that, can you? You literally can't go wrong for £6. And I've seen one of the best, what I consider to be one of the best films of the year. So yeah, you won't catch me complaining about that. But yeah, the film was good, the experience was good. I will be doing it again, but not on a regular basis. And yeah, it was really, really good to be back. So I just thought I'd share all that with you, just give me something to talk about. Reviews, I'll do a very quick one. A Nightmare on Elm Street, my God. I've seen the original more times than I care to remember. Absolutely love it. It's a stone cold classic. I mentioned online one weekend that I was thinking of getting this because I hadn't actually seen it, or if I had, I couldn't remember seeing it. And everybody that had seen this said, don't bother. It's absolute pants. But I thought, well, you know me, never want to listen. I grabbed a copy of this. I watched it. Why do I never listen to you people? It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't very good at all. It's not one that I'm going to be watching again, so this is definitely one for the charity shop, which I'll be walking down there with this and a handful of others straight after I've recorded this. But yeah, It was basically exactly the same story as you'd expect. All they've really done is updated it to the modern day, which isn't really the modern day now. This was made in 2010, I think. Would I recommend it? No, not really. I'd say if you want to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street, watch the 1984 Wes Craven original. You absolutely can't go wrong with that. This is really, really hit and miss, even though I read a few reviews online from people that said it's nowhere near as bad as they'd heard. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. So, yeah, I won't be bothering with that one again. I'll just very quickly run through these. Mission Impossible 2. The IMDb synopsis says IMF agent 4, 3, 2, 1. IMF agent Ethan Hunt is sent to Sydney to find and destroy a genetically modified disease called Chimera. Sounds straightforward. There are some reviews on IMDb that are not very flattering. If you're new to the Mission Impossible franchise and wanted to give them a watch, you could easily just skip this one and not miss much at all. Another one said the first 60% of this movie was pretty good. The last 40% was mostly action and mostly hokey. So stupid, it was an insult for any viewer with a brain. They're not being very kind to this one. MI2 has become a total guilty pleasure. Another one said big budget and energetic sequel with lots of rousing, breathtaking scenes. I actually quite enjoyed it. It was directed by John Woo, who has done a lot of sort of martial arts type things. His trademark is mostly sort of slow motion violence, and there is a lot of that in Mission Impossible, so he's definitely put his stamp on it. It's also been called the weakest of the entries into the series. I don't know. I thought it was all right. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't watch it again, but you know, it was okay. It was at least as good as the original. I'm moving on to MI3 hopefully this weekend, so I'll give you my thoughts on that one on the next video. The other one I watched, let's see, The Thursday Murder Club. Let's see, IMDb synopsis. 4 retired pensioners spend their time solving cold case murders for fun, but their casual sleuthing takes a thrilling turn when they find themselves with a real whodunit on their hands. And the stars that are in this, you got Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, Celia Imrie, Tom Ellis, David Tennant, Jonathan Pryce, Richard E. Grant. That's one hell of a cast. Directed by Chris Columbus, who directed Home Alone 1 and 2, Adventures in Babysitting, Mrs. Doubtfire, and a couple of the Harry Potter films. You wouldn't think it could possibly go wrong, and for me it didn't. I thought it was amazing. A lot of people have said it should have been a series rather than a film. It would have been suited better to the small screen. I don't agree. I thought it was just fine. Not many positive reviews on IMDb. You guys said, James, you said seen it and fantastic movie, mate. Jackie Mears, it's really good, but to be honest, doesn't follow the book. And Caroline, you said, I quite enjoyed it, but haven't read the book, so nothing to compare it to. I thought it was all right. We really, really enjoyed it. It was one of our Saturday night movies, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it, so I can't really complain about it. I'm looking forward to the inevitable sequel, because there's bound to be one. But yeah, Thursday Murder Club, highly recommended. I think it's streaming on Sky Cinema, I think. Or is it Netflix? Can't remember. It's definitely streaming anyway. And the final one I'll give you my thoughts on very quickly. My God, this is a divisive one. We're on 23 minutes. Zoolander. IMDb review. Yes, it's one of the well, these are reviews, not the synopsis. There's no point in reading the synopsis because it's just too daft. Yes, it's one of the dumbest films you'll ever see, but it's supposed to be stupid. A satire on the shallow people who inhabit the world of male fashion models. Another one says a hilarious, ridiculous comedy that does a great job of poking fun at celebrity, which it does. And another one said, I cannot get my head around its popularity. It's essentially a singular joke, which is that models aren't very bright, and that joke is stretched beyond breaking point. Guys, you had some thoughts on this one. Rick, you said, don't insult yourself by watching this crap for 90 minutes. Straight to the point, Rick. Jason P. Some good reviews on here. Sarky sod. Only 2 people gave it a thumbs up, and they were Jason K and Chris. They're the only 2. It's similar in style, humour-wise, to a movie I watched the other week called Blades of Glory, which I also really enjoyed. Zoolander I thought was funny. Not hysterically, but I did enjoy it, and I would definitely watch it again at some point. I want to watch the second one, but that one has actually got worse reviews than the first one, if that's possible. So, the only other one that I've watched is a movie called Scream Time. Now, I remember going to see this at Burton Odeon, whoa, many years ago, early 80s probably. It's one of those portmanteau movies where you've got sort of three stories in one, and it's all based around some video cassettes that are rented from a shop. They've all got different stories on them, so I thought it was really, really good. Has anybody else noticed on Prime just recently the amount of movies that you put on for free, and they're actually VHS quality? You can tell that they've been ripped from a VHS. They're not HD at all. This was one of them, and when I put it on, I don't think I'd have suggested watching it had I known that it was that, because I like watching. I'm not a Blu-ray snob or anything like that, or a 4K snob, but I do like things to be in HD if possible. This was definitely sub-quality, but I'd already put it on and I thought, oh, Rob's into it, so I really don't want to turn it off. But there are quite a few of them on there that you watch and you think, oh, I didn't realise that was out on sort of Blu-ray or VHS, and then you put it on and you suddenly realise actually it's not at all, is it? No. So I don't know how I feel about that. If it's the only way that you can get to watch these rare films, then I suppose it's fair enough. But I would rather have waited, had I known, for a Blu-ray release to come out on that one. So, and that's pretty much it. There's no original versus remake this week because I haven't had a chance to watch one, but I've by no means kick that one into touch. So that's all the notes. Right, I've got quite a bit of stuff to show off, but I'll take a quick break because we're coming up to 26 minutes. So I'll be back in a sec. And we're back. Right, I've got a few bits to show off and then I'm done. I won't drag this out for too long, guys, because we're nearly up to sort of 30 minutes and I promised I wouldn't go over that too much if I can help it. Plus, I'm sure you've all got better things to do on a beautiful weekend like this than to listen to me rattling on. So I'll start with a couple of CDs that I bought. What's it all about? I actually discovered this by accident on Facebook, popped up as an ad. And this is basically, as it says, film and TV music of swinging London. You won't get this kind of stuff anywhere else. You've got all sorts. You've got some Barry Gray themes like Joe 90, Thunderbirds. Let's see. You've got tunes on here that I've never ever heard of. I've had this on in the car for the last couple of weeks. I absolutely love it. So that's going to stay in the car, I think, when I get back. Let's see. Next one, I think Jay recommended this one to me. It's not out the cellophane yet because I only got it a couple of days ago. Now 60s, Volume 1, 1960 to 1962. I'm assuming there's a Volume 2. If there is, I'll almost certainly be grabbing it because the track listing on this is amazing, which I'll pop just there if you want to freeze frame and zoom it. So that's that. I also grabbed a book. I'm a great fan, as you know, of the silent movies. And one of the biggest scandals of the silent era was Fatty Arbuckle, and this is a fictionalized account of that, which is about as close to the truth as you're ever going to get. It is written like a fiction book, but I'm assured that this is pretty much how it happened. It covers the scandal itself, it covers the trial, the aftermath, how his career collapsed because of it, his attempted sort of resurgence of his career, which didn't really work. Really looking forward to reading this. I love stuff like that. That's all the books. So, handful of magazines, Sight and Sound. There's an article in here on Mark Jenkins. Now, I've not seen any of his films yet. He's got one called Bait, one called Ennis Main, and a new one called The Rose of Nevada. Now, Mark Jenkins is a Cornish filmmaker. He sets all of his films in Cornwall. And apparently The Rose of Nevada is supposed to be absolutely amazing. If you check out the trailer on YouTube, you'll see what I mean. But I do love a read of Sight and Sound. Let's see what else. Intermission, which is obviously the Talking Pictures official magazine. This one is an offshoot of Vintage Rock. This is the Rolling Stones. Every LP reviewed. It also looks at their career. It's like a complete albums guide. I love the Stones. That's that one. Latest issue of Film Stories. I don't know what's in this. Highlander Special, The Making of a Cult Classic, which is a movie I have not seen. Not a surprise, I know. Latest issue of Yours Retro, articles on Clint Eastwood, Phil Silvers, The Beatles, Rise of the Robots, 99 Years of Mechanical Sci-Fi Stars, Thunderbirds, Starsky and Hutch. It's going to be worth a read. Latest issue of SFX. Some more offshoots of the Vintage Rock magazine. I've got here the ultimate guide to Sun Records. This is where most of the rock and roll stars like Elvis, all of those ended up starting off. Let's see, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis. Looking forward to having a browse through that. The Ultimate 1950s Rock and Roll Companion. Guide to Everybody, Eddie Cochran, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bill Haley and more. Plus the top 150s tracks. That's going to be good for a read. I really should find time to read these before somebody else says that. The latest issue of Vintage Rock with Buddy Holly on the front there. Del Shannon is on there. Don't recognise any of the others, I have to say. Nope. So I'll have a read of that. The latest Empire. I saw the trailer to this when I went to see Michael. Now I haven't seen the original, so I've got nothing to compare it to. But it looked okay. But I get the feeling I would probably enjoy the original Masters of the Universe more than that one. But let's see. I've got some books here. First one is Hollywood, The Pioneers. This is based on a series that was screened in the 80s, narrated by James Mason, and it was all about the silent era. You can't get it for love nor money nowadays. I'm really hoping that somebody picks the series up and releases it on DVD or Blu-ray because it's screaming out for it. The nearest I could get to that series is this book based on the series, which I'm really looking forward to reading. What else we got? 1968, Diary of a Monster Kid by Alan Bryce, aged 14 and a half. This is basically one of those brilliant memories of cinema books that I absolutely love, covering his trips to the cinema, his trips to the first X certificate movie he ever saw, all that kind of thing. I can immerse myself in this for hours on end. There's the back of it. It's very, very well illustrated. In fact, it's pretty much all illustrations. Just give you a couple of quick examples. There you go. It's really, really, pick any page. There we go, one more. That kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to having a good go at that. Cost me 25 quid, that one. The Ultimate 70s Collection. This was actually meant to be a birthday present, but I ended up keeping it because I liked it. So, really, really good. Just basically everything 70s. Toys, records, products, fashion icons, game changers, all that kind of thing. This is a series that I'm watching at the moment on Talking Pictures TV. Absolutely love it. My dad adored this series. Way before Dallas and Dynasty, all those warring families, you had the Brothers on BBC One. I think it started about 1971. I'm currently watching this series on TPTV and I'm hooked on it, absolutely addicted to it. It is brilliant. I spotted this book as The Brothers Companion, which is basically the story of the series. Again, well illustrated. Looking forward to a read on that one, but really enjoying that series. Darker Than the Sun, an atlas of James Bond movie collections. Locations. This is basically going through every Bond film and showing you photographs of the locations, how they are now, what they look like back then. For a Bond fan, this is a brilliant book. I've already dipped into this a few times. Love reading stuff like that. The latest issue of Cinema Retro, which I do enjoy. I've got another intermission here. I think these are ones I've actually shown off from here on in. Fortean Times. Have you noticed TPTV have started a series called Fortean TV? It's basically presented by a priest who talks about the paranormal and stuff like that. This is the magazine that inspired it. I used to get this years and years ago, and I spotted it in... do you know what? It's not called W.H. Smith's anymore, is it? I didn't realise It's called something else. It's not Smith's, but that's where I got it from anyway. So I'm going to have a read of that. I've been through all these now. There's some DVDs here which I'll rattle through very quickly, and some Blu-rays. And I've got one very special item to show you that I found. Well, Rob found it in the attic, and he said, I bet you didn't know you'd still got this. First one, Sherlock Holmes. This is a box set of all the Sherlock Holmes films that starred Basil Rathbone as Holmes. It's got pretty much every movie that he ever made, and the reason I got this was because I heard a review of the Scarlet Claw on the Pure Cinema podcast, and I thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind a watch of that. And then I spotted this box set with not just the Scarlet Claw but every other Basil Rathbone movie on it for £7. You can't say no to that, obviously you can't. More Elvis, and I know what you're going to say, you've not even watched the last ones yet, but doesn't matter because I spotted this one. This is another box set with another series of films on. King Creole. This has got loads. Roustabout, Fun in Acapulco. There's loads. I'm trying to get a full set of them, and you know, only to watch the first one and thinking, God, these are shit. I'm sure I won't think that. Here's another one. What's this one got? Flaming Star, Frankie and Johnny, Love Me Tender, Clambake, Wild in the Country, and Kid Galahad. That's another one. I'm going to try and watch one of these this weekend just to see what I think of it. I used to love these films in the 70s. Absolutely loved them. I haven't seen them since the 1970s. The Airport Terminal Pack. This features obviously Airport, which was 1968. Airport 75, Airport 77, which is the one where they're trapped underwater in the Bermuda Triangle, and Airport 80, The Concorde, which was pretty much dubbed the most ridiculous film ever made. So, again, £5 or £6. Couldn't go wrong with that one. This is a movie that me and a colleague were talking about, and she said to me, you have seen it, haven't you? I said, no, I don't think I've ever seen it. It just sounds too stupid. She says, no, get it, because it's really entertaining. Bubba Hotep. I'd heard of it, and I knew it was something to do with Elvis in a care home, but that's all I knew about it. But apparently Bruce Campbell is in this. He plays Elvis, and it's all to do with a mummy or something like that. Really looking forward to this. She highly recommended it and said if you like a good, fun, Evil Dead style horror movie, you can't go wrong with that. So I thought, grab that one. This is one. The Talking TV, not Talking Pictures TV, the Real Britannia podcast did a pod on this one. I listened to it while I was walking the dog one day and thought, that sounds amazing. I really need to have a watch of that. Home at 7. I don't know very much about it apart from what I've heard at the podcast. If you want to have a look at the synopsis, check it out on IMDb. That'll tell you everything you need to know. But it sounds fascinating to me, so I couldn't wait to get into that one. This was recommended by Jay. I do listen to you. I couldn't find this for love nor money on Blu-ray, apart from on very expensive imports. And I thought, you know what, I'm not a Blu-ray snob anymore, and I do mean that. If I see a film on DVD and I can't get it on any other format, I will quite happily watch it on DVD, and that's what I've gone for this one. Silver Streak. Plus, I loved the artwork. And what tipped me towards this movie, apart from the fact of watching See No Evil, Hear No Evil the other week and loving it, I think Jay said you really need to watch Silver Streak, which is obviously Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. Also, Jill Clayburgh. I absolutely adore Jill Clayburgh. Her movie, An Unmarried Woman, is one of my favourites of all time. She's got 2 or 3 others that I've not seen yet, and this has kind of fired my interest up to catch up with those movies. But I will be taking a look at this before before the next video, Jay, so I will let you know what I think of it. But I'm fairly sure from what you've told me, this is pure 70s. I'm going to love it. I just know it. And you told me not to bother with this one, but it was on the next page, and I thought, do you know what, for £3, another you. You said you didn't like it. A lot of people on the IMDb said it's charming. Quite a few people said it's nowhere near as good as their other comedies because it's a completely different animal. So I am looking forward to watching that, and I'll let you know what I think of it. This was on my cult film list for ages. I saw this, oh God, decades ago, and I didn't understand it. Never got it at all. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it another go. Donnie Darko. I don't know why it's that way round, but the sleeve is that way round. But as you can see, that. So it's just one that I want to take another look at, just to see whether it makes any more sense this time round than it did the last. But I get the feeling it probably won't, but we shall see on that one. And finally, this was recommended to me by somebody who recommended to me, this is to do with originals versus remake, and I said that I'd only ever seen the original, but it was a long time ago. Arthur and Arthur 2 on the Rocks. I thought the original Arthur was absolutely superb. Dudley Moore was just brilliant. So I'm looking forward to watching that again, and also to catching up with Arthur 2. And I've got some Blu-rays here, including, you can't compare the original with the remake unless you get the remake. So this is the one with Russell Brand, who I used to be a big fan of, but I've not heard anything much of him, apart from yet again the allegations. They just kind of drown out everything he's ever done. It's the same with every other artist that gets pasted with this brush. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having a look at that, just to see what it does with it. I don't think it's going to work the same as the original, but we'll see. This is a box set that I grabbed for £3. This was recommended by Chris. Morning, Chris. Again, I said I'd never seen any of them, and he said you really do need to watch these. So I grabbed this for £3 or £4. I get the feeling this will probably be a charity shop job, but we'll see. I may end up keeping it. We'll see what I rate to. This is the Hunger Games, and I believe it's got all 4 of them on, which is irritating because there's a new one coming out, and I didn't find that out until I saw Michael, and I watched the trailers. Another Elvis movie, Blue Hawaii. Now this is on Blu-ray. So I'm looking forward to taking a look at that, because the quality will be absolutely stunning. Same with this one, Jailhouse Rock, one of his most famous movies. Again, never seen it. This one, do you know what? I have no clue why I bought this. I must have been reading something about it and thought, do you know what? I've never seen that, and I got it for stupid price. Zero Dark 30. This is about the Americans' hunt for Osama bin Laden. And that's pretty much all I know about it. I think it was directed by Catherine Bigelow. Have I got the right one? And if it was, yes, it is. So I'm looking forward to watching this, because I'd seen a couple of her movies and really, really enjoyed them. This is another one to do with originals versus remakes. I've got the original of this. I've had it for quite a while. But what I hadn't got was this one, Poseidon. It's got Kurt Russell. It's got quite a few people in this, which is, the writing is so damn small I can't see him. Richard Dreyfuss. I can't read them. God, my eyesight's getting worse. But looking forward to having a look at that on the back of the original. And finally, I went into HMV the other day to pick up a gift voucher for Rob's birthday. I do normally buy him bits and pieces, and I will be doing that, but I just wanted to have a gift voucher on standby in case I couldn't find anything. So I picked up a £50 gift voucher, and I spotted this on the shelf and thought, it'd be rude not to. I was looking at this on Amazon not too long back and thought that I was waiting to pull the trigger on it, but Excalibur. Now, I saw this at the cinema, wow, many, many years ago. Absolutely loved it, really enjoyed it, but I've not seen it since. And this is apparently digitally remastered, it's on Blu-ray and all that sort of thing. So really looking forward to that. This thing that Rob found in the attic, he brought this down. I don't know what he was doing up there, looking for a bill or something like that. And he said, I found this up there. Did you know you'd still got this? It's a pocket watch. I bought this, Christ, when I was about 17, 18. I don't know why. For some reason, I got the, you know, I just felt I wanted one. And look, it does open. Is that the coolest thing ever or what? And I took this into work, and one of the younger lads in there, I was showing it him, and he went, do you know what? If you ever leave here and you want to give that away, can I have it? And I says, of course you can. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's still in as good a condition as it was the day I bought it. It's still shining and silver. It still works because I've wound it up, but I thought that was gorgeous. And he says, do you want me to put it back? I says, no, I'll keep it on the desk because I'm going to show the lads that. That's it, I'm all done. I think we've gone up to near enough 45 minutes now. I didn't mean to rattle on that long, but I did have the cinema visit to talk about, so I know you all wanted to hear about that, and I didn't want to short matinee. So thanks ever so much for joining me, guys. I will be back with you, God willing, the first Saturday in, what month are we in? June. First month of June, first Saturday of June. I should be back with you. Give me any thoughts that you've got. If you prefer me to do it in sort of 3-4 segments, just record 10-15 minutes a week or whatever, of what I've actually been watching, and do it as a diary format. Let me know if you think that'll work out, or if you'd rather me just keep it exactly as it is. But I think this is going to work out just fine. So, right, enjoy the warm weather, guys. Thanks ever so much for joining me, and I will see you all in a few weeks. Take care, all of you. Ta-da.